new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. I am your host, Raymond Mutuku. We are just about to finish the book of Judges so that we can start reading another book later on at the time of the West. Samson took a young goat and went to visit his wife. He said, I'm going to my wife's my wife's room, but her father would not let him go in. I was so sure you hated her, he said, that I was to your companion. Isn't her younger sister more attractive? Take her instead. Samson said to him, this time I have a right to get even with the Philistines. I will really harm them. So he went out and caught 300 foxes and tied them tail to tail in pairs. He then fastened a torch to each. He lit the torches and let the foxes loose in the standing corn of the Philistines. He burned up the shocks and standing corn together with the vineyards and the olive groves. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. We're reading the scripture. Just about to finish the book of Judges, and tonight, maybe if we are lucky, we'll start the book of Ruth. Any questions up to there? So the Philistines went up and burned her and her father to death. Samson said to them, since you've acted like this, I swear that I won't stop until I get my revenge on you. He attacked them viciously and slaughtered many of them. Then he went down and stayed in a cave of Edom. The Philistines went up and camped in Judah, spreading out near Lehi. The people of Judah asked, Why have you come to fight us? We have come to take Samson's prisoner. They answered, to do to him as he did to us. Any questions up this channel? Subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from, and I will answer you as we continue. Then the 3,000 men from Judah went down to the cave in the rock of Etam and said to Samson, don't you realize that the Philistines are rulers over us? What have you done to us? He answered, I merely did to them what they did to me. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. We are reading the book of Judges. I want us to finish reading this book tonight. If possibly in the next 1 hour, I'm sure we'll be done reading this book. Any question up to there? Then later, after finishing reading the book of Samson, tonight we'll start reading the book of Ruth. Any questions up to there? Then 3,000 men from Judah went down to the cave in the rock of Etam and said to Samson, don't you realize? Okay, I read that part. And hand you over to Philistines. Samson said, swear to me that you won't kill me yourselves. Any question up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Samson said, swear to me that you won't kill me yourselves. Agreed, they answered. We'll only tie you up and hand you over to them. We will not kill you. So they bound him with new ropes and led him up from the rock. As they approached Lehi, the Philistines came towards him shouting. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. The ropes on his arms became like charred flax, and the bindings dropped from his hands. Finding a fresh jawbone of a donkey, he grabbed it and struck down 1,000 men. It's a donkey's jawbone. I've made a donkey of them. Any question up to there? With a donkey's jawbone, I've killed 1,000 men. When he finished speaking, he threw away the jawbone, and that place was called Ramat Lehi. Because he was very thirsty, he cried out to the Lord, "Your servant this great victory. Must I now die of thirst and fall into the hands of uncircumcised?" Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Then God opened up the hollow place in Lehi, and water came out of it. Any questions up to there? Then God opened up the hollow place in Lehi, and water came out of it. Then Samson drank, his chance returned, and he revived. So the spring was called En Hakore, and it is still there in Lehi. Welcome to this channel. I am your host. If you're new to this channel, subscribe. We're in Judges 16. This is a very, very nice part of this book. Wonderful place, wonderful place. Samson led Israel for 20 years, the days of the Philistines. 16. Samson and Delilah. One day Samson went to Gaza. There he saw a prostitute. He went in to spend the night with her. The people of Gaza were told Samson is here, so they surrounded the place and lay in wait all night at the city gates. They made no move during the night, saying, "At dawn we'll kill him." But Samson lay there only until the middle of the night. Then he got up, took hold of the doors of the city gates, together with the two posts, and tore them loose, bar and all. He lifted them to his shoulders and carried them to the top of the hill that faces Hebron. Sometime later, he fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. The rulers of the Philistines went to her and said, "See if you can lure him into showing you the secret of his great strength and how we can overpower him so that we may tie him up and subdue him. Each one of us will give you 1,100 shekels of silver." So Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued." Samson answered her, "If anyone ties me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been tried, I'll become as weak as any other man." Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Then the rulers of the Philistines brought her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been tried, and they tied him with them. With men hidden in the other room, he called to them, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." But he snapped the bowstrings as easily as a piece of string snaps when it becomes close to a flame. So the secret of his strength was not discovered. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. We're in Judges 16. In no time, we finished reading the book of Judges and start reading the book of Ruth. Any questions up to there? Good. Then Delilah said to Samson, "You have made a fool of me. You have lied to me. Come now, tell me how you can be tied." He said, "If anyone ties me securely with new ropes that have not been used, I'll become as weak as any other man." So Delilah tied him with them. Then with men hidden in that room, he called him, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." But he snapped the ropes off his hands as if they were threads. Delilah then said to Samson, "All this time you've been making a fool of me and lying to me. Tell me how you can be tied." We are in Judges 16. If you're new to this channel, we in no time will finish reading the book of Judges, and I hope that tonight we'll start reading the book of Ruth. Don't go anywhere. He replied, "If you weave the 7 braids of my head into a fabric on the loom and tighten it on the pin, I'll become as weak as any other man. So while he was sleeping, Delilah took the 7 braids of his heads, woven them into the fabric, and tied it with a pin. Again he called him. Samson, the Philistines are upon you. He woke from his sleep, pulled the pin, and loom with the fabric. Then she said to him, how can you say I love you when you won't confide in me? This is the 3rd time you have made a fool of me and haven't told me the secret of your great strength. With such nagging, she prodded him day after day until he was sick to death of it. So he told her everything. No razor has ever been used on my head, he said, because I've been a Nazarite dedicated to God from my mother's womb. If my head was shaved, my strength would leave me. So I would become as weak as any other man. When Delilah saw that he had told her everything, she sent word to the rulers of the Philistines. Welcome to this channel. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Come back at once more. He has told me everything. So the rulers of the Philistines returned with the silver in their hands. Any questions after that? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. After putting him to sleep on her lap, she called for someone to shave off the 7 braids of his hair. So he began to subdue him, and his strength left him. Then he called Samson, the Philistines are upon you. He woke from his sleep and thought, I'll go out as before and set myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Any questions up to there? Then the Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and took him down to Gaza, binding him with bronze shackles, and set him to grind corn in the prison. But the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Now the rulers of the Philistines assembled to offer great sacrifice to Dagon their god and celebrate, saying, our God has delivered Samson our enemy into our hands. When the people saw this, they praised their God, saying, our God has delivered our enemy into our hands, our land, and multiplied our slain. While they were in high spirits, they shouted, bring out Samson to entertain us. So they called Samson out of the prison, and he performed for them. While they stood him among the pillars, Samson said to the servant who held his hand, put me where I can feel the pillars that support the temple, so I may lean them. Now the temple was crowded with men and women. All the rulers of the Philistines were there. And on the roof were about 3,000 men and women watching Samson perform. Then Samson prayed to the Lord, sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more, and let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes. Then Samson reached towards the 2 central pillars. Underline that. Then Samson reached towards the 2 central pillars on which the temple stood, bracing himself against them, his right hand on the other and his left on the other. Then Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. Then he pushed with all his might, and down came the temple on the rulers and all the people in it, and he killed many more when he died than when he lived. Then his brothers and his father's whole army went down to get him. They brought him back and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the tomb of Manoah his father. He led Israel for 20 years. That is the story of Samson. Let's finish reading the book of Judges. We're in Judges 17. Now a man called Micah from the hill country of Ephraim said to his mother, The 1100 shekels of silver that were taken from you, and about which I had you utter a curse, I have the silver with me, I took it. Then his mother said, The Lord bless you, my son. When he returned the 1100 shekels of silver to his mother, she said, I solemnly consecrate my silver to the Lord for my son. To make an image overlaid with silver, I'll give it back to you. So after he returned the silver to his mother, she took 200 shekels of silver and gave them to a silversmith who used them to make the idol. And it was put in Micah's house. Now this man Micah had a shrine. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Let us take a small commercial break, and we will be here after 1 hour. Alright? Let's take a small commercial break. Alright? I'll be here in 1 hour. Alright? Okay.